It's time for a happy ending, Gamehound style. Gamehound staff is not responsible for anything that your kids might hear.
Yeah, welcome one, welcome all, Gamehound's happy endings. Holy Goalie flying solo today, as both Gamer Edie and Nick had other obligations. We actually recorded our main show yesterday, Tuesday. It should be released pretty soon. But I wanted to jump on just in case somebody jumped in the chat room so we could say hi, our normal time of Wednesday, 3 o'clock Eastern Time and noon out there on the West Coast. And in Norway, I have no idea what time that would be in Norway. And I think we got some people in Australia listening too. My dad lived in Australia for a while. And I wanted to say it was a 12-hour difference. Could be wrong. So if anybody out there in Australia, let me know what the time is out there, if it is indeed a 12-hour difference or what it is compared to Boston time. I want to say hello to our first chat room guest. That would be AC Wraith. Yeah. Nice job. Thanks for coming in and joining us today. Thanks for joining just me. But I did want to talk about a couple of things. As we know, just a few days away, just over a week away from the first of the two major new console launches. That would be the PS4 on the 15th of November, and then Xbox One rolling out on Friday, the 22nd. This is my first console launch, or actually launch day launch for me, whatever you want to call that. It's the first time ever I've got a console on opening day. I had some games on opening day, usually the hockey games and football games. When they would come out, I would race down to the store to pick them up. But this is my first new console. But anyway, before we get going into that, ways you can reach us if you're new listening to the show. Our website is gamehounds.net. On Facebook, if you're on Facebook, check us out. Facebook.com/thegamehounds. On Twitter, we are Gamehounds. And my personal one is Gamer Goalie on Twitter. And we do have a text line as well, which you can send text or voicemail. And that is 304-300-9889. Again, 304-300-9889. So getting back to the console launch, I was going back over my list of consoles that I've owned. And there's been some old ones. Yeah, I'm dating myself. The Atari 2600. No, I did not get that on launch day. The Mattel Intellivision was the second one that I had. Yeah, this is going way back, folks. Yep, I'm old. Did not get that on launch day either. I had a... What else did I have for consoles? The Nintendo NES. Somebody actually gave me that. So that was obviously not on a launch day. I had the Commodore 64 for a while, even though that was more of a PC. I think I had that in, 1985 or 1986. Still not a launch day thing. When I started actually picking up consoles, I think my first big one was the Sega Genesis. That was one of my favorites. Did not get that on launch day either. I had a Super Nintendo for a while just to play this one hockey game. Boy, you spend all this money on one system for one game. And that was it. It was a Stanley Cup hockey on Super Nintendo, and it was horrible. I bought the system and the game. I think I returned it a couple weeks later. It was pretty bad. After the Sega Genesis and Super Nintendo, I think I had a PS1 that I'm still trying to connect to the internet, and I can't figure out how. And then from there, I had to make the decision between Xbox and PS2. And at the time, someone told me that the Xbox is faster, it's newer, it's got a hard drive built in, and that's the way I went. We actually had a PS2 at the hockey rink upstairs in our lounge area, if you'd call it, and you had to buy the cartridges that you press in to store stuff, and that was so... when you have the hard drive built in, it's just way better than it was plugging in those cartridges. And then you pull it out and you forget which ones had which games and which saves and the whole bit. So I did go with the Xbox. And then, obviously, the Xbox 360. And that's where I am today. But this is my first, and I'm real excited about it, my first launch day console, the PS4. A couple other people jumping in. Jason Webb and I believe also the Piss Boys in here. Big claps for you guys. Welcome to my humble abode here. Holy Goalie flying solo today. As mentioned, Nick and Edie are both away with some other things. So I figured I'd jump in case anybody was checking in at the normal time. I did want to say hi. So, so I got the launch day coming out next week for the PS4, as mentioned, and then the week after the Xbox One. Now, I know there's going to be glitches, and I know it's not going to be all smooth and candy corns and rainbows with either system. So if something goes right with PS4 and doesn't with Xbox, I'm not going to bash one and praise the other. I'm not going to be a fanboy to play that game. So I expect both to have issues. I would really like I want to be able to plug in the PlayStation, connect to the internet, probably get the mandatory updates that they have, and then be able to not only play a game from the disc, but I would like to be able to download some games and play them as well. I would like to chat with some people and play some games online, as well as some local games, solo games. If it can do that, I will be happy. I don't need all these other bells and whistles that they talked about. I really just want it to do some basic things, and then I can worry about all the super duper stuff that'll happen there. So I just want to be able to play a game. I want to download some games, and I'm an Xbox guy, 360 guy, as you all know. Xbox this year with the Xbox One, I'm sour still, so I'm giving PlayStation the first crack, and I believe that Edie and Nick are as well. Now, anybody here in the chat room, Corey Wallace has joined in. Say hi to Corey Wallace. So in the chat room, guys, what are your thoughts on the upcoming systems here? Are you getting any of them? Which ones are you looking forward to, and why? Are you sour at Xbox like I am? But even though I'm sour with the Xbox, I'm not giving up on them, okay? My gut, and it's a decent-sized gut, let me tell you. My gut tells me that by spring or summer of next year, which is 2014, we will have 2 Xbox Ones in the house. And me and Mrs. Goldie will be playing. If I was a betting man, that's what I would be betting on. I am giving PlayStation the first crack with these new consoles. I'm just, for me, it's new, and I talked about a little bit of this on the show. PlayStation is new to me. Okay, their whole PlayStation network, it's new. I've done the Xbox thing to death, and I do like it. Didn't like the PS3, but I'm hearing good things and reading good things and watching videos about good things about the PS4, enough that I'm willing to buy their console and give them a shot. Now, they might let me down. It might be so different than what I'm used to with the Xbox 360 that I might give up and say, well, I might keep it because I already bought it, and use it for some single-player games or something like that, or just to have them. Because I know some people have both the 360 and the PS3. I did not. So I'm, am I going to be all mad if it doesn't meet expectations and turn around and sell it right away? I don't think so. At some point, if I find I'm not playing it at all, then it doesn't make much sense to have it sitting there collecting dust next to my VHS recorder. And then I can go to the Xbox One. But it might blow me away. It might be fantastic. I might have some friends port over from 360 to PS4 and have a blast playing with them. It might be a pretty strong system, and it might be great. In the best case scenario, I like the PS4, and I also pick up the Xbox One, and now I have both to work with. I don't like to have both. I like to stick with one or the other. That's just me. I just think it's a lot of money to spend to have 2 major consoles like that. I mean, no, we're not talking thousands of dollars. I know that. But, I mean, you're talking $400 for one and $500 for another. So now you're talking $1,000 to get into both. I don't, there's not enough games propriety to each system to make me have both. Like, I really wanted to play, The Last of Us on PS3. Really, really wanted to play that because I've heard everybody played it, and I think Edie and Nick played it, and they loved it, and they were gushing about it, and I couldn't play it because I didn't have a PS3. But is that going to make me go out and buy a PS3 just to play one game? No, it's not. It's not going to. One game's not going to do that. And neither is Titanfall or Forza for Xbox One going to make me buy an Xbox One to play one game. Not going to happen. So I need to look at and evaluate my investment in the consoles. Corey Wallace saying, I wonder how the Vita is going to work with the PS4. That's the wild card, Corey. That's the wild card in this whole thing. Is I picked up a Vita a couple of months ago, and I signed on with the PlayStation Network. I hopefully got the name that'll carry over to the PS4. It should. I mean, I signed up online with the PlayStation. I signed into my Vita with my name. So I'm hoping when I get my PS4, I can just plug in my name and password and be good to go and not have to create a whole new thing. I don't know how that's going to work coming from the Vita. I hope it does. But yeah, I just got the update the other day from my Vita that's supposed to sync up with the PS4 when I get it. That is the wild card in the whole thing, because right now Xbox doesn't have a handheld for their Xbox One. Yet, I should say. Yet. So I'm interested to see how that works. I do like how they're incorporating tablets such as the iPad into the Xbox One, and I'm hoping they might do the same with the PlayStation 4. So these new generations of consoles, both Xbox One and PS4, there's a whole new excitement with integrating tablets and you having a second player play on a tablet while you play on the console, or you playing on the Vita, and having other people on the console. That is really, really cool, as well as all this MMO integration. You're talking the Elder Scrolls Online, for example. That's really kind of cool. And then also they're talking about Guns of Icarus Online. I think they were talking about coming to PS4, maybe both. But how cool would that be? Some of these PC games coming over to the consoles. I prefer playing on consoles. There's nothing like sitting on the couch. I got CJ over here on the right of me. I got my IBC Diet Root Beer on the left of me, and I'm just sitting my butt on the couch with my controller on a 50-inch TV. That's comfortable right there to play games. And I would play everything on that. There are some games I have to get up and I sit in front of my laptop and play. The graphics are really nice on my laptop. It's a new laptop, and the games are fun and they're more in depth. But I prefer playing on the console. I really do. It's just more comfortable in the whole bit. So I'm interested to see. And at first I was like $15 a month for Elder Scrolls, no way. But after playing Diablo so much, and I'm playing with Mrs. Goalie so much, and it's fun that we both come home from work, we eat dinner, and we get on Xbox and we play this Diablo, and we played with some of you guys. And had a real good time with it. So I'm hoping, boy, if this Elder Scrolls or some of these other MMOs that are coming out, are they even talking about, what was that, Earth Defense Force 2053 was another one that you could play co-op. And there was another one, I think it was called Helldivers, that's on PS4 that you can download and play. And that's supposed to be another co-op friendly game. So yeah, I'm kind of jazzed about all these games I'm hearing about. And a lot of them are on the PlayStation Network that you download and play. So for me, this is a new territory for me. This is a new field for me to play in, is this whole PlayStation thing. Now, those of you out there that have the PS3, this might be old hat to you. You're probably not all excited about it as I am. But I want to check it out. And I might be thoroughly impressed and be like, this is the greatest thing since, sliced bread, I guess you want to call it. Or it might just be, nah, I still like the Xbox setup better. I won't know till I try it. Heading back to the chat room. Got Yager in as well. And AC Wraith, Corey Wallace, Jason Webb. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. As mentioned, both Nick and Edie are away on assignment. And they're talking about the cross-platform. AC Wraith, I see you talking about the cross-platform. And I know that at one point with the Warframe game, I think that's the one you were talking about, is that they were talking about maybe having that come across from PC to PS4. So if I'm playing on PS4, I could play with you if you're playing on PC. I think they were trying to do something about that, and now I guess they're saying that won't work. So, that would be great. Even if they platformed that over from Xbox One and PlayStation 4. I mean, not that you want to have one console for everybody. It's nice to have choices, but it'd be really, really cool if let's just say, you're a big X, I know Stormtrooper Ray, big Xbox One guy. Well, if he's playing, Dead Island. Let's say Dead Island 3 comes out, and he gets it on Xbox One, I get it on PS4. It'd be great if we could still play together. And I know that's not possible, and it's pie in the sky dreaming, but that'd be kind of cool, is to integrate some of this cross either console or PC gaming into the same game somehow. That'd be kind of neat. Pissboy says Diablo 4 on PS4. Yes, and then the new expansion, the Reaper of Souls, they're talking about coming, but that's not until March. So I'm wondering at what point, am I going to stop playing Diablo? Because I'm playing that to death now. I'm coming towards I can see the end of the road with Diablo 3. Oh, he says Diablo 4. Is that Diablo 4 or Diablo 3? I think he might be talking about the expansion. Who knows? But, I can see the end of the road coming for Diablo 3. The wife's already starting to fizzle out a little bit. She's not as hot to play that as she used to be. We're still playing and have fun, but we've kind of done that to death. So that's why I'm kind of hoping a good MMO, like the Elder Scrolls, whereas you wouldn't be doing the same thing over, or the same maps over and over, I should say, if it's bigger. That would be kind of fun. Pissboy's also talking about Planet Side 2 on PS4. Yep, that's another good one. What was that one that just come out? The other Planet game, something 3. Frozen Planet 3, or there was some other Planet game that just come out, and it kind of come out with a whimper. And didn't do too much to it. I think I played the first one. The second one was horrible. Then they just come out with the third one. You haven't heard anything about it. I might be Planet Side 3 or Frozen Planet 3. I forget what it is. But yeah, Jason Webb, Octodad on PS4. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. With the PS4, there's all these little things like that for the PS4 that they announced. It was the Octodads. It was, the Elder Scrolls coming first. The little things like that really turned me on to the PlayStation. And it could be horrible. It really could be. I'm hoping it's not, but it could be horrible. But I'm really, really jazzed up about the PS4 for things like that, because I saw Octodad at PAX East in Boston back in March, and we watched Nick play it. And it was hilarious. Watching Nick play Octodad was like watching Nick play sports. It was that goofy. And it was that fun. And bringing games like that over to the console, like Diablo is a perfect example. I don't know if I'd want to play Diablo on the PC, but on the Xbox 360, it's a blast. And they ported it over very nicely. Pissboy says it was Lost Planet 3. Yes, it was Lost Planet. I thought it was Frozen Planet. Lost, but that's how much those games made an impact on me. So Lost Planet 3, Corey Wallace, thank you too. Played Lost Planet 1. It was okay. Just okay. Lost Planet 2, I don't think I touched. And then Lost Planet 3, everybody's saying is not that good. Oh, boy. Pissboy even says lots of indies on PS4. Yes, that is another one of the wild cards along with the Vita. Or Vita, as we say over here in Boston. Real interest in this PS4. And again, it's new for me. Let's see. Back into the chat room. What was I looking at here in the chat room? Beyond the Lost. Pissboy said he took a break from the PC on Diablo. Actually, in an AC Ray's talking about Path of Exile. I tried that. I played that for about half hour, 45 minutes the other day. Yeah, and he said the first bit didn't hook him. It didn't with me either, but I'm pretty much sure that's how Diablo on the PC would play. Whereas you click till you want to go, and then you click on the enemy, and then you keep clicking on the enemy to fight him. I prefer the console version, whereas when you hit the A button, the sparks come out of your hand as you keep hitting the A button. Whereas the other one, you kind of clicking on the guy and you're waiting for him to wind up. I don't know, it just didn't feel as good as it did with the console. Then you call in your special abilities. It just having all those buttons right there on the Xbox 360 controller to drop, the acid on them or to shoot the fireballs at them or to freeze them. It just seems so natural with the controller. Whereas the Path of Exile, the tutorial was horrible. I don't even think there was one for Path of Exile. Just kind of threw you in. So I'm still trying to figure out how to equip different weapons and put things on. And I think I got a special ability that I put into a club, but it wouldn't work with a club. And still trying to figure all that out. It's very Diablo-like. And I'm walking around playing it, and it's okay, and I will play it again. it didn't grab me like Diablo did. Yeah, so I agree. The first part of Path of Exile was okay. It didn't quite grab me, but I will continue to play it. Now, if that gets ported over like Diablo does to even the 360, that's something I would definitely check out because it's very, very Diablo-esque. Corey Wallace, Call of Duty multiplayer is much improved. Liking it so far. I haven't played the new one yet. I don't know if I'm going to get it just yet or what system. That's where we are. We're in the gray area right now with these new consoles. It's an exciting time, but it's also a frustrating time because which system do you buy it for? Do you buy it for the current systems and play with your buds, or do you wait and get it for the new system and see what it has to offer on the new systems? I am waiting on the Assassin's Creed, was that 4 Black Flag? I didn't like, I think it was the third one, the one that was in Boston. Maybe I'm just not a big fan of Assassin's Creed, and that's why it didn't work for me too much. But I'm watching the videos, and I'm hearing the commentary on 4, how you get into the ship and you sail around. And, the combat was always clunky with me. I played that third one for a little bit, and I had a hard time with the combat. So I'm going to try to get used to that. But jumping on the ship and sailing around and fighting in ships and then, looting other ships and going to islands, and boy, I tell you, that looks really, really fun. So AC4, I'm going to pick up for the PS4. As far as Call of Duty, I don't know what I'm going to do with that yet. I don't play Call of Duty multiplayer. You know me, I'm the co-op guy. So if it's got a co-op mode or like the zombie mode I played. So I really want to find out how the single-player missions were. Now, I heard bad things about Battlefield 4. Yeah, cue up the crickets. I'm hearing the single-player was bad, and I'm hearing the multiplayer was very frustrating. So, yeah, Battlefield 4... Don't know which system I'm going to get that for, if even I'm going to get it. We were talking, I think it was Iron Fist sent me the tweet, and he said the frustrations I had with Battlefield 3, he's having with Battlefield 4. Whereas if you jump in, they need to put you in a game with your certain levels, and I don't know if they do that or not anymore, or if they ever did. But you jump into a game, and the guy, he's a level 10 or 12, and he's got scopes on his gun and silencers and a whole bit, and you jump in, and you basically got a rusty pistol. You're just going to get tooled. You're just going to get picked off, and you're going to have to play 30 games and get killed 100 times just to get to the level 2. And my complaint with Battlefield 3 was I was the engineer, and I couldn't fix a tank. That's what the engineers do. They give you the shotgun, they give you the little landmines to put down, and you fix stuff. That's the best thing about being an engineer is your support. And at level 1, that wasn't unlocked yet. So I had to die so many times just to be able to unlock the fixing of the tank. That's what turned me off on one of those guys. I don't know if that was 2 or 3. I honestly don't forget. I didn't play 3 that much. But I was shocked. When they had Battlefield 2, and I think this might have been on the original Xbox, you had the 4 classes, and everybody had the same weapon. There was no upgrading anything from what I can remember. And that was perfect because you could jump in on day 1 or day 100 and you had the same chance as anybody else. Now, if you were better at the game, that's fine, but no one had a one-up with you on the guns or the ammunitions or the scopes or anything. Everybody shared the same setup. And I thought that was genius. I really did. But nowadays, I understand you got to progress, you got to update, and there's no sense playing a game over and over with the same gun. You want to unlock certain things. I get that. But if you're coming in at the bottom, it's really, really frustrating. Heading back to the chat room, Piss Boy, yeah, Killzone is going to be the game to get on PS4. Yes, that is the one game right now that I have on pre-order. I got that through Amazon last week, I think. So Killzone is the right now the only game I have coming in disc for PS4. I'm hoping to download some games on the network once I get it set up. Back to the chat room. Let me see. Corey Wallace heading out. Corey, thanks for jumping in. And Piss Boy says, everything's unlocked from the start with Killzone. So, that's interesting. I mean, it is fun to unlock some things that gives you goals. I won't, I'll admit, it's if you can't unlock anything that is, so it is fun to, I finally unlocked this, I finally unlocked that. But if you're going to be just getting, like I say, just tooled on, and you're just going to be a lamb for the slaughter, it really makes it tough to try to jump in and enjoy a game if you're just getting picked off. And the funnest part of the game was just finding the guns on the ground. It's like, oh my gosh, a gun with a scope. This is fantastic. And then, once you ran out of ammo, once you died, you couldn't get that gun back until you unlocked it. But, you used to pick up guns on the ground. So I used to hang back. I used to sit behind everybody, behind my skirt. I had a skirt on. I couldn't fight because I had a crappy gun and just pick up guns on the ground. Let me see. Piss Boy again. Path of Exile is like Diablo 2. See, I didn't play Diablo 2. Just 3. But for the screenshots I've seen for the PC version, I can see how Path of Exile is very similar. Let me see. Yaga, plenty of current system games to outlast the buggy launch games and console updates. Yeah, and Yaga, I talked about that at the beginning of my lengthy monologue, which is this turning into, is I'm expecting glitches, and I'm not expecting it to be all free and happy and sparkles and rainbows. I know there's going to be issues. And, I'll give them some time to sort it out. Hopefully it's not going to be a 2 to 3 or 4 week period of sorting out, glitches and bugs and crashes. I'm hoping that at some point, the basic necessities of gaming will be there. So I can see your hesitation and waiting. Again, but as mentioned from the start of the show, this is my first launch date console for me. And I've had, I think I listed off 8 or 9 or 10 different consoles I've had in the past, some dating back to the late 70s. Okay, yes, I'm old. So for me, I'm preparing myself for some issues. I just hope they're not too bad. I hope I, didn't make the wrong decision by buying in too early. And I really hope that, whatever console that anybody gets, whether it's Xbox One or the PS4, that if they have issues right off the bat, that we're not throwing everybody under the bus in the first week. If PS4 comes out and it's perfect and Xbox One has issues, I'm hoping people don't say, yeah, there's that Xbox again, throw them under the bus. It's going to take time to work it out, and I know it is, and I just hope it doesn't take too long. Let's see, back in the chat room. Piss Boy, you get skins when you level up. Well, as long as you get something, it's worth it. I mean, if you can unlock like different colors of guns or different outfits or things like that, I mean, that's fine. But it's just if you're at a total disadvantage going in, if you're a new person, hello, I'm the new guy, and you go into a game and you're just getting tanked, you don't want to play that game. And that really limits the amount of people that are going to be playing your game because they can't keep up with the experts. So that's all I'm asking is a little bit more fairness at the top. If they want to, if they got a couple of things you can unlock, fine. But the way Battlefield did it, holy smoke, you had to play and play and play and die and die and die and be the sacrificial lamb. I mean, my kill ratio was 1 to 10 when I first started playing Battlefield. If I killed one guy in a match and I only died 10 times, that was good for me. And it was downright embarrassing when the game ended. You see you're down the bottom, 10 deaths and 1 kill, and you see the meat at the bottom just goes, that's as far as I got. It's like, man, I'm going to be forever unlocking something to be competitive in this. So if Killzone does it differently, that would be great. Back to the chat room. AC Wraith. My first and last launch date console was the Dreamcast. That's one I didn't have. I think I actually played one of the hockey games on Dreamcast over a friend's house. It was actually pretty nice when I remember. Was that the one that had the funky-looking Battlestar Galactica controller? It looked like something right out of Battlestar Galactica. It was a very unique controller from what I remember. It looked like a spaceship from a sci-fi movie, if I remember correctly. And I had a hard time playing that. I think I remember the guy beating me like every game we played. And if I played Sega Genesis, I would beat him. But we get on the Dreamcast, forget it. I was dead in the water. Let's see, Jason Webb. Is Need for Speed a launch game? Boy, I tell you, that I don't know. There's been so many games that have come out for launch, and now they've bumped them back. It's hard to say. Anyway, looking at some of the news here real quick. I didn't bring up the news music, but let me see. What can I play here? Here we go. All right, heading over on Joystick is where we like to look for some of our news that's going on. So Sony and Microsoft are going to honor the Blockbuster UK next-gen pre-orders. This just come up a few minutes ago. As you know, Blockbuster UK was basically going out of business, bankruptcy, the whole bit. And they had some pre-orders. And, well, I guess now you'll be able to still get your Xbox One and your PS4. There's certain steps you got to take and a form you got to fill out and get it in real fast. But I guess there is at least some good news over there. Let me see. Assassin's Creed doing well, selling on the PC. Actually, it's setting. It's getting ready to go on sale on November 19th for the PC. So you PC guys will get some Assassin's Creed. I'm still really bummed out about was it Watch Dogs? I think that's the one that was coming out and that now it's not for launch. It's like, and then you have a bundle. You have a launch bundle with Watch Dogs, and they back it off. And that's one. Holy smoke! That's one game that right when we saw it, and I don't remember if it was. I don't think it was PAX East. It might have been E3, and I remember watching it on TV. And I remember, we did the first Game Hound show talking about that, and I was talking to Edie and Nick, and I says, that game looks amazing, and it also looks impossible. It's so much. I mean, so you're walking down the street, and you can literally tap into everybody's phone and ATMs and streetlights and building. My first reaction was, how are they going to pull this off? And how are you going to do that? Are you just going to, look at something, aim like a first-person shooter and have it light up and control it and give you it's almost too big. It's a fantastic idea. We all, our jaws dropped, and we're like, whoa, that is fantastic. But my next reaction was, how are they going to do that? It's too big. It's almost like you have if the entire, if Grand Theft Auto 5 gave you the entire world to work with, that's great. You can go to any country, any city, sail around the world. Honestly, that's too big. How are you going to do that? I don't know. But, yeah, so Watch Dogs, boy, that was one I really want to see. And we're going to have to wait for that one. There's a lot of coming out next year. There was a couple other ones I looked at, and, boy, I forget what they were. And they were saying December 30th, 2014, so I know that's just kind of a safety date for them. That's because they'll be coming out next year. Oh, going back to the chat room. AC Rays, yeah, it was a huge controller with a big input slot for memory cards and screens. Single analog stick. Yeah, I think I remember that controller. Only played it a few times. Let me see. Yaga says, I slept on the Best Buy concrete for a Wii. Never again. Yeah, how many of you guys, in the chat room or listening in, how many of you guys have actually waited in line for a game or a system or a phone or something like that, or even concert tickets? I can honestly say I don't remember ever sitting in a line or camping out, whether it's movie tickets or concert tickets or a video game. I don't know. This is nothing I want that bad to camp out to see or to get. A couple of times I almost went down to the local GameStop around midnight to pick up a game, whether it's Call of Duty or Splinter Cell or whenever they had the big midnight launches that they do from time to time. And I almost went down just for giggles and ha-has, just to say I did it and just to kind of feel it out. And I never did, and mostly because I have an early morning job that I got to work on Tuesday. So, I mean, for me to get on at midnight and, sit in line, and if I get home at 1, I wouldn't have a chance to play the game anyway because I'd have to be up in a few hours. So I'd always go over Tuesday morning after the line died down. But you could see the line at the GameStop where they had it all roped off and the arrows where to go. It was kind of funny and a little bit. But I've never could bring myself, even as a kid, everybody would stand in line for Rush tickets. And I don't think I ever did. I either just called and ordered them on the phone or bought them from somebody. But so when I first did this PS4 pre-launch, or what they call that, pre-order, I pre-ordered through Best Buy, and then I was like, oh boy, something, that means I'm going to have to get down there and get it. So I actually went in and canceled that order and put in a second order to have them ship it to me. I was like, yeah, I think it was Edie that actually convinced me to do that. She's like, yeah, dude, you're not going to want to wait in line. I was like, yeah, you're right. Not at my age. Maybe if I was younger and all excited, but it's so it's supposed to come out on the 15th, whether, the big brown truck drops it off to me on the 15th or the 16th or maybe even that next Monday. Who knows when I'm going to get it. That's fine. It would be nice to get it on that Friday so I could set it up and have the weekend to kick it around. But again, I'm in no big hurry. There's nothing I'm dying to play on it. It just would be kind of fun. Heading back to the chat room, let me see. Yaga says he camped out for the Phantom Menace. Oh, boy. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, big mistake, he says. Yeah, you think? That's all right. Live and learn, as they say. Let me see. Piss Boy says he waited for the Star Wars Episode 1. Waited in line for, I don't know. Yeah, Yager, in fairness to you, hindsight's 2020. No one knew about Jar Jar Binks. Those Star Wars movies, they were okay. They were definitely cleaned up. They were definitely more Disney. They were definitely politically correct. It was everything the first three Star Wars were not, and it was quite evident right off the bat that this was not your Star Wars. This was definitely your son or your daughter's Star Wars. That's who they were catering to. They were okay. I mean, there's nearly nothing bad with Star Wars. They were okay. Oh, let me see. Hey, speaking of Star Wars, I mentioned this on the show that hasn't come out yet, but I'll tell you guys this. I finally played a decent game on the Vita. It was a beta, and it was called, and I'm trying to remember the name because it has the worst name to try to remember. It was called Starlight Inception. Yes, that's what it's called, Starlight Inception. Very, very X-Wingy versus TIE Fighter thingy. Okay, you remember X-Wing versus TIE Fighter, those games? This has that feel to it on the Vita. Starlight Inception. The worst name. I keep forgetting the name. I have to go back and turn on my PlayStation just to remember what it's called. But it's a space game. You fly around. I have a couple of those on the PC as well, and I don't remember the names of those either. They're just very bland, vanilla names. Strike Suit Zero. Yep, that was one of them that I have on the PC. Very fun to play with. And this one here, too, Starlight Inception on the Vita. I don't know if it's coming to PS3 or PS4, but it is on the Vita. Very fun to fly around and play. So finally, a good game. Very, like I say, very much like the old TIE Fighter X-Wing games where you fly around and shoot things and whatever. Very fun. So I'm kind of hoping that something comes out with that. They released the full game. And if it crosses over to the PS4, that'd be kind of cool too. But it is fun on the Vita. It's the only thing is that some of the menus are so small on the Vita. Ugh. It's like what's neat is if you remember the TIE Fighter and X-Wing games, is that you could control where the power went to. So you could put all your energy towards the front deflector shield to block incoming. You could put all your energy into your speed, or you could put all your energy into your guns, I believe it was. So you had your engine, you had your defense, and you had your guns, and you had to maneuver your energy around to do different things with it. And that's how this game is, too. So I got damaged. So the little tutorial says, oh, hit this button twice, and then go over here, and then put your repair at a higher level than anything else, which is fine because you start repairing faster. But now you can't fly as fast because now you've taken away from your engine or you've taken away from your guns. So that's how X-Wing and TIE Fighter were. Is there was a couple of missions that you had to fly really fast to go catch somebody, so you would take down your shields and apply 100% of your energy to your engines and you'd fly faster. And then as you get close, you would back off and recharge your seals. But that's how the Starlight Inception is. Really kind of fun playing on. Finally, a game on the Vita that I'm actually enjoying. But I just got the update on the Vita, as I mentioned in the show earlier. Interesting to see how that syncs up with the PS4 and if I'll even use it at all. Again, I enjoy sitting on the couch playing, so I don't know if I'd play the Vita that much or not. I guess we'll have to see. Back into the chat room, Yaga. Star Wars 1 was 1978. And he says, Piss Boy, what were you, 2 years old? Wow. In 78, I think I was 11. Yeah. Good stuff there, Star Wars there. Anyway, heading back to see if I find any more news here before we wrap up the show. Oh, hey, has any of you guys tuned in to the G4 network just for kicks? Have you gone back to the G4/Esquire network? Tuned in the other day, and the description on the guide said, video game reviews. And I go there, and they were reviewing Far Cry 3. And I know that the channel's in a transition, and there's no new content coming out for the video game stuff because they've killed that off. But if you're going to have a channel and you're going to have game reviews from games that are a year and a half old, why bother? It's so dated at that point. It's almost like putting the news on from a year ago. Like an actual news broadcast or like a sports show. Let's say ESPN ran their exact sports nightly show from a year ago. Yeah, let's just say it was, right before the Super Bowl. Yeah, we got the big Super Bowl matchup coming up between so-and-so and so-and-so. Well, that game's been played a year ago. Are you going to tune in and watch the news broadcast for something that happened a year ago? So I'm tuning in and I'm watching these, hey, we got breaking news. We have this, game coming out. It's called Call of Duty Black Ops 2. Yeah, that was a year ago. So G4, stop running the reruns of the old, shows there with Morgan Freeman and all those guys. They're old. They're old games. Just either bring it back. Bring back the old G4 setup and talk about new games, or just go forward with your whole Esquire TV show and do whatever, okay? Because I'm not going to watch any more of your cop shows or your crappy shows on there. That's one channel I never go to. But I got fooled. You fooled me. You brought me in thinking I was going to see something new, and you fooled me because it was something that was a year old. Yep, good for you. Heading back to the chat room, Yaga says, have you heard about the Walmart price screw-up? I did not. Tell me about it. Chat me out a little bit here in the chat room. Tell me about the Walmart screw-up. But what I am waiting for is next week the Target has that deal coming out, the Target stores, where it was leaked. And we talked a little bit about this on the show that's coming out, about the ad in Target that says buy 2 games for the PS4, get a third free. And they had some, there's not many games to choose from, so they all have to be pretty decent titles. Unfortunately, one of them is Killzone. I've already pre-ordered that, so I got to scratch that off my list. But I think that Assassin's Creed might be on that list. So if I'm going to get Assassin's Creed anyway, and this is going to happen, then I might wait until, I think it's the 11th or the 12th, which would be next Monday or Tuesday. I might wait just before I pre-order that from Amazon or Best Buy or whatever. And if they have that deal, then I'll get my AC4 through them. I'll pick another game, and then I'll get a third game for free. If that's how it works. Who knows how it's going to work, but that's how it might work. So then I'll at least have a few games to play on the PS4. Let's see. So Yaga goes on to say, the screw-up was most new games were $18, huh? Yeah, that's a big screw-up, down from $60. And we were talking a little bit, me, Edie, and Nick, about the sharing of the PS4, and we're still, as soon as we thought we had it figured out, we didn't have it figured out. Because they were talking about if you have 2 PS4s, and, you have console A and console B. If I'm the owner of console A and I download a game, then I go to console B and sign in. I can download my game on console B. So now we have, Game X on console A and console B. Can we play them at the same time together? How does that work? And so I guess that's going to be a wait and see. We're going to have to see how that actually plays out in the real world, because people have tried to describe that to us, and we thought we had it figured out, and it's still not making any sense, because the way we had it figured, and according to their rules, was that if person A gets on person B's console and person B gets on person's A console, and they both sign in with their names on each other's consoles, they could play the game together. Kind of weird. But that was the workaround that we figured out according to the rules that they set. I still don't think that makes any sense. So that means I got to go upstairs, and the wife's going to come downstairs, and we play on each other's systems to play the same game. I don't know how all that works. So that's going to be a wait and see. And that's one of the things that come out with the Xbox One, is when they had this whole game sharing thing, but no one could really explain it. One guy said this, another guy said that, then it was speculation on this, then we had questions about this, and no one really could steer us in the right direction, say absolutely what all the variables were going to be, and then they ended up taking it away anyway. So we'll see how that comes out. Back in the chat room, August is a 55-inch Samsung Smart TV, 90% off at $300. So now was that the typo, or was that actually the actual price? I just picked up a 50-inch Panasonic plasma for under $1,000, and the guy says, "Well, it was the best of this year's technology or last year's technology, whatever he said it was. It's not the best of the best. He was showing me the best, and they were almost $2,000. I was like, I just don't want to spend $2,000 right now on a TV. I just want to upgrade. One of the ones that we have. We had a 46-inch plasma. That was, I want to say it's 7 years old now, and this thing was red hot. Oh my gosh, we could if we left it on for a few hours, if we turned it on its back, we could have fried eggs and pancakes on it. That's how hot it was. You walked by this thing, whew, it was hot, man, let me tell you. And that's the one we have upstairs that the wife has. And she likes to leave the TV on while she does housework and, vacuum and clean up and read magazines. It's like, boy, that must be chomping the electricity and just putting off the heat. So we got the new one, and we put it upstairs for her, 50-inch 1080p, much cooler, much lighter, and it's one of those smart TVs that's got the Wi-Fi built in, and it is razor sharp. It really is. And we had the big discussion yesterday on the show with Edie, Nick, and myself about, can you tell the difference between 1080p and 1080i? And 1080i and I guess 720p are almost interchangeable. And we were talking about how like 90% or 99% of the people couldn't tell the difference. Well, let me tell you, just sitting down in front of this TV, it was beautiful. It really was. I could tell the difference. Now, again, this is 7 years newer. It's the 600 hertz refresh screen or whatever the heck that is, and it just blew away the specs of the old one. And everything we had looked better. Our cable TV looked better. Our Xbox looked better, and it had Netflix built in to the smart TV part of it. So we signed in with our Netflix, and we are now watching Super HD on Netflix. If you've never seen Super HD, it is beautiful. It is, I don't want to say it's Blu-ray quality. That would be unfair because there's nothing better than putting in a Blu-ray right now. But it is beautiful. It really was. And quite a bit of their movies that we saw were in Super HD. And we actually had to watch one of them. It was actually a movie that was probably 5 or 6 years old now. It was fan-fugu-tastic watching that in 1080p. So now I'm jealous because now I want to upgrade my TV. And we originally were going to buy a new TV for the PS4. But PS4 is going downstairs in my older Panasonic Plasma, which is not 1080p. So, maybe Christmas. Maybe I can convince her to buy me one for Christmas, too. Let me see. Piss Boy says, yes, you can play them together. Yeah, I want to see that. Piss Boy, are you getting a PS4? That's what I want to know. I know you're probably going to end up getting both. I didn't know where you stood on that. Are you getting a PS4 at launch or Xbox One or both or none? Didn't actually get that. Walmart's actually calling people to bring them back. The web glitch made it $300 and it was $5,800 retail. Wow. Imagine that. Oh man, I got the smoking deal. Come home, set it up. This is great. Get a phone call. Yeah, can you bring that back? Yeah, we kind of messed up. Can you bring it back? Yeah, that's what I would do. You screw up. Yep, whatever. And Yaga's saying that the Blockbuster in the U.S. is shutting down now in December. Yeah, that's too bad. That's the end of an era. And I guess that's a sign of the times. And I guess that's where Xbox One was trying to go with all this streaming stuff, is in getting away from discs. Blockbuster, you rent, back in the day it was VHS, now it's DVD, and now it's streaming. Everything is streaming nowadays, and it's kind of sad. It's really an end of an era, seeing Blockbuster shutting down. In fact, I think Redbox is the only place around here that you can actually rent DVDs from. So it's going from the big stores to just the kiosk as far as renting games, renting discs. Kind of a shame. I know the Blockbuster up here went out of business, and then it turned into a Halloween store for a while, and now it's some, I don't know, Mexican takeout restaurant or something like that. I don't even know where I would go if without Redbox. I have no idea where I'd go to rent a DVD. But again, nowadays you're streaming, whether it's through your cable or your DirecTV or your Netflix or Vudu or Cinema Now or anything like that. Everything is streaming. So kind of sad news. Yaga, thanks for bringing me down right here toward the end of the show. Is Blockbuster US going out of business as well in the UK, and kind of an end to an era. You knew it was coming though. Even the buggy whips went out of business at one point. And kind of sad, because that was the big thing, is going down on a Friday night or Saturday night down a Blockbuster and, seeing if they had, you used to get all bummed out because you used to get down there and you'd see the cover of the DVD that you wanted and you're looking like, oh, there's none behind it. There's none left. I wanted to see this movie, and now I got to go find some crappy movie to rent. But nowadays what we do is tonight is bad movie night. Wednesday night's bad movie night. We hook up with my brother and we watch some crappy movies. So we get on Netflix, or now Amazon has the streaming now, and we just find some movie. And the thing is, we'll watch like 5 or 10 minutes, and if it's that bad, we just stop and go on to the next one. Whereas if you had rented it, you can't really stop and drive to the store and return and pick up a new one. You're kind of stuck. So you'd always go, rent 2 or 3 different ones. And, and how many times did you guys do this? How many times did you go... and I know the wife did this a lot. She'd pick out like 3 or 4 or 5 movies, cost us $20 or $30 in rental fees, and we'd watch one of them. And it's like, by tomorrow night, we have to return all those or pay a late fee. And it's like, yeah, we're not going to watch those. So we would always rent more than we ever watched. We never really rented one. We would always rent a few of them and never watch them. And then you'd have to rent them again, or I don't know what we were doing. Piss Boy says 4K TV is just nuts. Yeah. But the thing about that though is we went down to this place is actually called Paul's TV up here in the up in the Boston area. It's it was a small little showcase place. It's not a Best Buy by any means. It's just basically like home appliances and TVs. This place. Just wanted to give them a try. I didn't want to do the Best Buy thing for some reason. I wanted to give this other place a try. So we went in there. And they had a 4K setup, and yes, it's insane, nuts, insane, whatever word you want to describe it. But there's just no 4K out there right now. We're not ready for that. The TV was ridiculously priced for 4K, and what are you gonna watch in 4K? Nothing. It's like buying a 3D TV 5 years ago. There was nothing to watch in 3D, and I remember going into Best Buy, and they had a 3D TV set up. And they had a football game on. You sat down, put on the glass, and watched a football game. It's like, yeah, it's okay. I just don't see myself, sitting down, putting glasses on, watching TV. And 3D never took off. And even today, there's really not much to watch in 3D. So 5 years ago, if you had bought a 3D TV and spent all that extra money on it, there was nothing to watch then. There's still nothing to watch. So 4K. Now you're talking more bandwidth streaming, more bandwidth on the cable. Yeah, we're not quite there yet. So yeah, there's no way I was going to spend money on a 4K TV because there's just nothing to watch. I think when 3D came out, you had ESPN 3D, and then there was a 3D channel on Comcast or DirecTV that would show penguins or something like that, or nature. Yeah, I guess it was okay, but there just wasn't enough to watch. Yeah, I guess says, yeah, he asked the person at the counter if there's any in the return. But yeah, you remember you'd be sitting there in line and someone returns something, you're like, what is that? What is that? Did they just return the one I was looking for? And see everybody kind of looking over and, oh, I haven't processed that yet. I can't give it to you. It's like, come on. That's the one I want. I just want to see Blair Witch. Do you have it? No, actually, it wasn't Blair Witch. I hated that movie. Although the ending of the Blair Witch Project was one of the creepiest endings I've ever seen. The movie itself was just, yeah. It was one of the first ones to come out like that from, hey, we found the footage of this camera. That was like one of the first ones to ever do that. Or one of the most well-known to ever do that. And the movie itself, I think we saw in the theater. Oh, my gosh. It was. I just wanted to cut myself. That's just how lame it was. But the ending part was kind of cool. I got to say, not that it was worth the price of admission, not that it was worth the 90 minutes that I didn't see it. But yeah, that last part was kind of cool. And I guess it reminds you of the time when Netflix come out. It says, unbelievable, no late fees. Yeah, but here we are at the progression now is where everything is on demand. Pretty much everything is on demand right now. And there's no returning, except with Redbox. And I still, like I said, I think I rented a couple things off of Redbox this summer, and I don't even think I got to watching them. That's why I like the streaming, because if you sit down and, you just don't have the time to watch it sometime. And Yaga just posted in the chat room, I won't give it away. But yeah, that was the ending of the Blair Witch. And for some reason, that struck a chord with me, and I thought that was one of the creepiest endings to a movie I've ever seen. It was just creepy. And nowadays, what's the last horror movie you guys saw that was any good? I saw the new Evil Dead. Maybe I'm just too old. It just didn't. The original Evil Dead was awesome. Watching that on VHS on a Friday night back in the 80s, that was one of the scariest movies I've ever seen. Now I watch it, and it's nothing, And that's the thing now is with technology. You have cell phones, you have internet, you have instant access to Facebook and Twitter. Back in the day, you just had the house phone. So you were kind of secluded. So if it just was easier getting scared back in the day. Whereas nowadays, with all the technology and cameras everywhere, and it's hard to get scared nowadays with horror movies because of it's just the technology. But it's kind of cool when they weave the technology in. I don't know if it was like The Ring did that really nice. I thought they wove technology into the horror movie part of it. The girl climbing out of the TV, that was kind of cool. The Grudge had a couple things too, where it appeared on the security camera. So there was a couple of different things like that were pretty creepy in horror movies. But it's really hard now to make a good horror movie because we've done the gore thing to death. You can chop off people's heads. We've seen that. The whole now everything is out in the woods somewhere. You get off the beaten path, wrong turn. 1 through 19. You find the hillbillies that eat you. Yeah, we've done that to death. So the only place to really go is with technology. And everything's 24/7 now, and nothing really shuts down, and cities there's lights everywhere. It's hard to put a good scary movie, and on top of it, they always make them PG-13 so they can get a bigger audience. And that just makes for a lame movie. You need to have it rated R. You need to have some frontal nudity. You need to have a little bit of the things that go on in a rated R movie. You really do. Cabin in the Woods, that was okay. I did see that one. I've watched that one a couple of times. That was okay. Was that had the crazy cop? It's like, yeah, you're gonna pick up a 40. Yeah, was that the one there? That the cop there, the younger kid that was the cop, and then the girl shaving her legs in the tub. Yeah, that was okay. Cabin in the Woods was okay. I think they had a Cabin in the Woods too. Didn't really care for it too much. They played the tech. Oh no! Oh wait! No, Cabin in the Woods. What am I thinking of? Remember the one in it was the cabin in the woods, and they had that flesh-eating bacteria. That's what I was thinking of. No, Cabin in the Woods. Yeah, that's the one that had all the monsters in it. Yes, yeah, that's the one that come out, and they tried to jump the motorcycle over the cliff, and there was the digital thing blocking them in. Yeah, okay, yeah, if that's the one you're thinking of, yep. Yeah, I saw that one. That wasn't too bad. That wasn't too bad at all. AC Wraith, Evil Dead 2, gotta be one of my favorites of all time. Evil Dead 2. You're right, perfect blend of horror and comedy. That says it in a nutshell. Evil Dead 2, Evil Dead 1 was just pure, I don't want to say horror, but it was creepy. When the creepiest thing ever in a horror movie is Evil Dead 1, the original, when the girl was trying to guess the cards. Do you remember that? When she was like flipping over the cards, and the girl's like, "Oh, try to guess the cards," and she was getting them wrong, and her friend was like, "Oh yeah, that's right," and she pulled over the next card, and she would guess and get it wrong, and her friend was just appeasing and said, "Oh, it's amazing, you got this one right too," and she pulled over the third card, and the girl looking out the window started reading off the cards, and then the girl's pulling them up. She's like, "King of diamonds, 3 of clubs, 4 of spades." And then she turned around and she was all possessed. That was the best. That really was. That was one of the best scenes in a movie right there, ripping off those cards, just reading them off. That was hilarious. That was great. But Evil Dead 2, Bruce Willis, was it Bruce Campbell? Yeah, Bruce Campbell. Oh, my gosh. That was hilarious. Cutting off his hand and then the hand choking him and smashing plates over his head and cutting off his girlfriend's head. Oh, yeah, that had it all. And it was still kind of scary. With the deer on the wall that was laughing at him the whole bit. Some good stuff there. Evil Dead 2. Oh yeah, Cabin Fever, Yager. Thank you so much. Yeah, Cabin in the Woods, Cabin Fever, whatever. Cabin Fever. That was the one they went out into the water was all contaminated. So whether they drank it or they bathed in it, yeah, that was the creepy one there. But yeah, and amen. Yeah, PG-13 ruined cinema. Yeah, you're right. It kind of did. They really don't make any good creepy horror movies. But they are coming out with some video game movies. Now, what do you guys think about that? Video game movies. Movies made after video games. I don't know. I mean, if they come out with a Diablo movie, I don't know if I'd really go see it. I don't know. Mixed emotions about that. I like to play my games. I don't want to watch my games. I just want to play. That's why when they have so many cutscenes, and what was that game I was talking about that I played this summer, and it escapes me now, that by the time I installed it and then I watched all the cutscenes, was it the Ghost Recon? Was that the one there? There was one that you had to install, and then you had to sit through basically a movie. You almost had to sit through an entire movie at the beginning just to get this game to play. And you couldn't skip through it. You had to watch it. And it was just like, cutscenes, they have their place. Make them small. I want to play. I want to play the game. I don't want to watch the game. And I know Edie loves that. I think Nick does too. Edie and Nick, they get into the story. They get into the emotions of the game. And that's what's really cool about those guys is they dig the emotion in the game. They dig the story. If you've ever been online and in a chat room with Edie or playing a game with Edie, it's silent. She absorbs the game. She listens to the dialogue. I've played through Diablo. I'm on my 4th playthrough now on the Inferno mode. And I'm still learning about the game because I didn't listen to the dialogue. I just played the game and I hacked and slashed my way through and picked up a few things along the way. But she plays and she listens. She reads everything and she talks to every person. She learns. She becomes part of the environment. And her and Nick both do that, and they get really emotionally attached. And that's just one thing I don't know. Maybe it's my was it ADD? I don't even know what that's called, but my impatience, whatever you want to call it. I rip through the game. I'll search the maps. And sometimes I'll listen to the tapes of the scrolls that you pick up during the game. But for the most part, I like to kind of keep moving through the game. Especially in a party, it's kind of hard. Because you got to everybody go, oh, where are you? How come you're falling behind? It's like, well, I'm trying to read or listen to this thing here. So you almost got to play it by yourself. Yeah, but if you ever played a a game like that. Edie really gets into that. So does Nick. They really like to. That's why a lot of times they don't even put on their headphones because they get so engrossed in the game. Good for them. But anyway, we're going to wrap things up here on the Game Hound solo mission. Holy Goalie flying solo today. I'd like to thank everybody for chiming in the chat room as we talked a little bit about some of the upcoming consoles, the PS4 and the Xbox One. PS4 coming out first. I assume next Wednesday, which will be the 13th. We'll be 2 days away from PS4. We'll have more to say about that. And we'll be just 9 days away from the Xbox One. And we'd love to hear what you guys have to say. Email gamehounds@gmail.com. Our text line, 304-300-9889. Again, 304-300-9889. Twitter, Gamehounds, and also Gamer Goalie. And our Facebook is facebook.com/thegamehounds. And the website is gamehounds.net. Feel free to send us a message. If you're getting a console, let us know which one you're getting. And after you get it, what do you think? What are you thinking about the new console after you plug it in? Eric Cotton just chimed in here in the chat room. Max Payne 3. You know, I didn't Mark Wahlberg play one of the Max Paynes? Was it him? I think it was Max Payne 2 or one of the movies, Max Payne movies. I don't even know if I watched more than a few minutes of it. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I mean, I like my things separate. I don't like my vegetables mixed in with my potatoes. I'm a separate guy. I don't know. That's just me. But anyway. All right, we're wrapping things up here on the Game Hounds. Jason Webb, thanks for joining us. Eric Cotton, AC Wraith, Yager. Thanks for everybody for tuning in. Trying to see who else we had here in the chat room. Oh, we had Corey Wallace early on in the chat room. And Piss Boy Steve was in here. And not sure if we had too many other people in there. There wasn't a lot of people chatting today. I know Edie put up a message that we weren't going to be doing it. And I told her, well, I might jump in if I finish work up quick enough and say hi to everybody, which is kind of what I did today. Just getting ready for the new launches. Kind of jazzed. I keep using that word. I don't know what I'll use the word. Excited. We always use that word. Excited. Jazzed. Ready to go for the PS4. Oh, I just hope it doesn't let me down. I hope it doesn't let me down. I hope with the Xbox One doesn't let anybody down either. As mad as I am at Xbox, I don't want that to fail because that's my backup plan. I really do want the Xbox One to succeed as well. So I'm hoping both launch, both have minimal bugs, everything goes smooth, and then there'll be two good consoles available to all of us. Gonna play out the fade-out music now. I want to thank everybody for tuning in once again. Look for our main show coming up in just a few days. We recorded that yesterday. You should be posting that shortly. And hopefully we'll see everybody back here in the chat room, here on Game Hounds Happy Endings, here on Spreaker. I'm Holy Goalie. Thanks for tuning in. Good night, everybody.